My game didn't sell, and here's why. Hi, my name is Majestic, and I'm a game developer. I made Space Survivors and released it about 6 months ago. I worked on Space Survivors for about a year or 9 months, and I released it on early access 9th of January. And since then, I've only got paid once from Steam from the sales. And for you guys that don't know, Steam does not transfer to you your sales if they amount to less than $100. So in the in the past 6 months, I've only got forwarded once, um, about $120, and since then I haven't made more than $100. So my experience has been very much not the same as every other game developer release, I guess. But at the same time, it is my first release, and I'm very proud of myself for releasing a game. Releasing a game, even though it's not really finished, in my opinion. I still try my best to work on it, add more content, get it to a place where it feels finished. Now, the hardest part was convincing myself to, okay, just release it on early access rather than just pushing it back. I'm glad I did that because I would have never actually released the game yet because life happens. A lot of things happen, you get busy, and honestly, that's kind of the tragedy of sacrificing creative work. When a ship is flying to the moon, let's say, they need to slowly get rid of the rockets and the jets or whatever they're called to lessen the weight, just to be able to transition from one state to another. And that's kind of what I went through. The funny part is, I went through it while I was really wanting to focus on game development, and because I know I want to do game development. So going through that transition and kind of having to detach my rockets sucks. It sucks a lot. But I finally managed to get myself together and make this small video because I really want to talk about my journey. And this will be very unscripted and maybe a little bit over the place, but I will learn and keep growing over the time, and I'll be making better videos. I can promise on that. And yes, this will be a devlog, and soon enough I'll be making a tutorial on how to start being a game developer, like making your first game and stuff like that. And after that, it's gonna be piece by piece. I have a few ideas in my mind, from mechanic breakdowns to remaking a specific mechanic in Godot into, let's say, a full course on how to make a game, a 2D game at the start. And of course, whatever you guys suggest and need is also things that I have in mind. The goal is to create a community and a place where I can make things for other people, community, and a space for you guys to share what you're working on and inspire, bring hope, and hopefully teach. That is my goal. Now, a little bit more about Space Survivors. Basically, Space Survivors is a rock-like set in space with survivor-like gameplay. It's inspired by Vampire Survivors, inspired by Death Must Die, Potato, and a few older games like Jits and Guns. And all of these combined kind of birthed the idea of making a survivor-like set in space where your upgrades show up on your ship. I don't really like the fact that in survivor likes you don't see upgrades and it's just like an arbitrary number. So in Space Survivors, every time you upgrade your turrets, you immediately see it on your ship. And it feels kind of cool. This by no means made Space Survivors easy to make. It honestly made it a lot harder. And as well, with the lack of my own artistic skill, I didn't really put limits on what I was doing. And it became all over the place while I was trying to just asked people to make art for me, people in my community or other artists that are kind of interested in the project. And that didn't really go far. People really you lose the enthusiasm or the passion to do anything for free unless it's your own project. And that is one of the things that I really had to learn the hard way. Whether it was my friends that always talked about making games together and stuff like that, or people that come along saying that, hey, I would like to make art for your game or like for your project. As long as there's no special special reasons for them, special reason for them, they usually just stop. They don't really, they don't keep up with it. I have someone that promised to make game art for me, and then they disappeared for a few months. Then they came back, apologized, and said they want to keep making art for me, and then they disappeared again. And I don't blame them. I understand that doing work for free is not a good incentive, and doesn't really necessarily feel like it's a special project for them, as well as the fact that they could just they could just work on their own project. And that's something that I really didn't understand at first, but kind of learned the hard way. So going forward, my next project will definitely have a lot simpler art style that I can make, or at least mimic. So that's my goal for the next project. Other than that, it is very important to note that I'm very, very thankful and grateful and very lucky that people approached me, saying they want to make art for my game or anything else, or just being part of the community. I'm truly grateful for that. And by no means am I bashing the fact that they approached me for that. Just understanding that not everyone is going to follow you on your journey, and not everyone that says they will follow is going to be able to follow. Because at the end of the day, everyone has their own road, as they say, their own story. Sometimes stories collide, sometimes they walk along, sometimes they walk along, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. That's okay. It's all a learning experience. Life happens, things change, priorities change, and that is okay as well. I think it's one of the cool things about being human is how adaptable we are sometimes. Well, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Do I leave Space Survivors for a bit, or do I just blindly keep trying? Well, it still looks a little bit off. I don't know. You guys can see the Steam page, play the game. I would appreciate that if you do play the game, or wishlist it, and you just tell me what kind of problems do you think Space Survivors has. From my perspective, it is lack of content. It needs more content, but I am unable to make more content. Well, I am able to make more content, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. Simply put. So this is kind of it for today. It's just a bit of game devlog and a general devlog about my actions and choices so far, and what this channel is going towards. I hope find it a little bit relatable or enjoyable to watch. Appreciate you all for watching so much. This is the Majestic. Don't forget to drop a sub if you can, if you like. I'll be making more content or making more tutorials, stuff like that. So, thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.